We all have been vidgen on pssing on the way through to, actually we're just about finished delivering the little magazine I had in my hand, and I thought on the way through I'd just stop off and introduce you to one of my favourite places in the world. This is Millbrook. This is Millbrook, the gift that keeps on giving as a journalist. When I first came to Queenstown in the 1990s, this wasn't built, and all the dignitaries that used to come to New Zealand, people like George Bush, etc., would stay down the road at Nugget Point, and that's just around the corner at Arthur Point. Little enclave of people that used to live there, a lot of ex-SAS, oil people, ex-intelligence people. Well, Millbrook basically opened up, late 1990s, and all the staff from Nugget Point came and worked here. So a lot of the head management people that worked here were like ex-South African Special Forces, very much worked to establish, rich people's billionaire enclaves. So when Millbrook opened up, it started to attract all sorts of VIPs. You had people like from the Kalal Investments coming in here, meeting with New Zealand dignitaries, Russian ministers meeting with New Zealand after the fall of the Russian 1998, the White Revolution. You had the Choggum heads of state meeting. You've had three CIA meetings here, but both the Five Eyes meeting in 2019 or 2018, the 2002 heads of intelligence, and they had all the CIA, FBI, MI6 guys were all staying here. And of course, a lot of the people that actually own property at Millbrook are very much part of that world as well. So you have people like James Covert, who used to work for the White House, was head of their security. He was based here at a chalet here. He opened up Tycoon Security, Cambridge Hedge Fund, which I think we could never prove that Cambridge was tied up with Cambridge Analytics, but when you looked at the LinkedIn profile, a lot of people that worked at Cambridge Hedge Fund also ended up working at the Cambridge Analytics. You had my very, very good friend Richard V. Allen, the former National Security Advisor for Ronald Reagan, who once tried to sue me from an article I wrote about him from when he moved into Queenstown. He was tied up with Millbrook as well. He sent me his very good mate in town sent me a letter saying, "This is terrible what you've written about Richard V. Allen." And we wrote back a letter, having published his letter in my newspaper, saying, "Well, if you give us a long list of all your friends, we promise not to write about them." Yeah, right. So, beautiful Millbrook, full of the rich, the famous, and the infamous. I always come through here because it's always got interesting characters to come through who give you a little bit of a clue about what's actually happening in New Zealand at the time. And I just thought I'd share with you little old spooky Millbrook. pssing.